Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Becca. If you're new here, if not, welcome back. But today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics in the world, and that is working out, exercising, wellness, and healthiness. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I am so passionate about it. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about my postpartum transformation. I actually hate that term. I'm not trying to transform anything here. I think my body is fabulous. I am going to be talking about my postpartum fitness journey. How about that? First, I thought I would just start out with kind of like my story of how I became one of those weirdos that likes working out. So back in my early 20s, teenage years, I hated it. But I also really hated my body, which is unfortunately way too common these days. I can go on such long tangents about how sad it is that we are taught to hate our bodies. It just completely changes the way we perceive life, how we think about ourselves. It tints everything in the world with this negative view. All because our dumb society tells us that we need to look a certain way. And it's so infuriating because one season it's, thin lips and no butt, and then the next few years later it's, oh, you need to have these big juicy plump bums, and you need like lip filler in your lips to look like a certain celebrity. And it's just so ridiculous that women are killing themselves, literally and figuratively, to fit a mold that doesn't work for them and their body. Whew, I told you I'd go on a tangent. But back to my story, I was one of those where I would get all motivated and I would want to transform how I looked, and so then I would kill myself in the gym or by running or however I thought was necessary, way restricting my eating. I would do it for a few weeks because that's how long I could stay motivated for, which is completely natural, and then I wouldn't have transformed anything in that amount of time, and it wouldn't have been sustainable, so I'd go right back to the way I was. The complete yo-yo that is so common with most people. So it wasn't until actually I had my first child, William, that I grew him inside of me and I gave birth, and it was the most empowering thing I've ever done in my life. And after that, my mindset completely changed and morphed into this whole beautiful thing where suddenly I looked at my body and I was so proud of it and I loved it for what it had done. That mindset change, I think, is the #1 game changer. Instead of hating myself and trying to change my body through shame tactics or these really toxic patterns to try to conform, I decided to come from a place of love. And it sounds so cheesy, but honestly, I think that that is the only way to make any sort of change. Any sort of long-term change, I should say. So I had him, and that's when my love for fitness really started. That's when, for the first time in my life, I started exercising consistently. And not only that, I tried so many different avenues of working out and moving my body so that I was able to find the way that I actually enjoyed. I got so into it, so much so to the point that I went and became a certified personal trainer. Right around that time that I got pregnant for the second time. At this point, I loved my body so much. Like, I was working out pretty consistently and I ate like a normal, pretty well balanced diet, I would say. I felt so strong. I felt so confident, and that is where I'm trying to get to again this time. So I had my daughter 3 months ago. I worked out throughout the pregnancy, just a wee bit here and there whenever I felt like it. And now here we are. Now I'm in the fun stage of where I can like really start working out again. And I love it. I don't know, I think it has something to do with the thought of starting at the beginning. Like, I am starting at square one. I'm ready to put my pizza in. I am starting at square one in my fitness journey again because I am pretty weak. I've lost a lot of muscle mass and put on some fat, and I'm just so happy with my body. Like, I'm so proud of it. I think it is beautiful the way that it is, but I am just really stinking excited to start working out again and building up muscle. Not only because I like the way that it looks, more importantly, I love the way that it feels. Like, I can chase after my toddler and not get super winded after just a couple minutes. And I can heft up both of my children at the same time, and I'm able to because I'm strong enough. Or I just love being able to like haul in all the groceries in one trip because I got buff muscles, man. I mean, let's be real. I don't have much right now. Quick note about working out postpartum. I believe, I have so much postpartum hair loss right now. My house is swimming in hair. Anyways, I believe the 6-week guideline that a lot of doctors, and you hear a lot, is not very accurate, which is frustrating because it's the blanket statement that's given to everybody. I don't think that women should start heavily working out until closer to 12 weeks. And that's what I did with my first, because I realized that about halfway through, and then that is what I did with this time as well. And there's so many reasons for this. Your body went through something so traumatic and you put such a beating on it. Like your pelvic floor and your abdominal wall, your poor abs had to completely like stretch out into these thin little wispy muscles when you stretched out to be so pregnant. And so it takes a lot of time to shrink them back, and then for that diastasis recti, that gap in your linea fascia and everything, to re-knit back together. I mean, I shouldn't say that so matter-of-factly because everybody is different. I just know for me personally, I did work out through both my pregnancies, and after I had my first, I started to try to run at the 6-week mark because I felt pretty fine. But when I did the running, when I did the weightlifting, I noticed that my pelvic floor felt incredibly heavy. It felt weird. I also noticed that I started bleeding again after each workout. And so those to me were just really big signs that I needed to slow down, take it easier. And so this time I took the full 12 weeks to really kind of rehab my abs and my pelvic floor. So I did abdominal and pelvic floor exercises, but again, they're just so gentle, and it's all about kind of reconnecting your mind and muscle connection, toning everything and making sure everything is coming back together beautifully. I had about a 1 centimeter gap with my diastasis recti. Right now, I would say that it is like completely gone and my abdominal wall is solid now. So I feel confident to start working out again, which is why I'm starting this video, because I'm starting my workout journey. I'm actually gonna put my pizza in the oven, so just hang on for a minute. Okay, we're actually just gonna go sit down and finish chatting because I don't want to stay anymore. So the themes, the mottos, the mantras, the words I'm kind of trying to visualize for this whole journey that I'm doing for myself are words like gentle and ease, balanced, healthy, and sustainable. Because again, I am only 3 months postpartum. I am not in any sort of race. I'm expecting this to take weeks and weeks. So that's why I'm not trying to come on here and be like, here's my 6-week challenge to get back to where I was postpartum. I have no number goals set at all. I have no kind of unrealistic expectations. I know I'm not gonna look like a shredded 20-year-old from Instagram. Like, I just want to feel strong and confident. That is my whole goal here. We were going on hikes all the time and we could just go on walks every day, and that's what I want again. Through all of this, there are a couple relationships that I do not want to damage at all. So first of all, I'm still heavily breastfeeding, and so I don't want to do any kind of crazy calorie restriction and any kind of extreme working out to impact my milk supply. And the second thing is that I do not want to damage the relationship that I have with my body, with eating, or with working out, because they can be very slippery slopes nowadays with Instagram, with YouTube, with social media in general. The comparison games are so strong, and it's so frustrating because it's very unrealistic. The super skinny, really fit girl that you see on Instagram, like, that is her full-time job. She goes to the gym 5 times a week for hours at a time. You probably have children, you probably have a job, like, you have so many other things in your life that you can't just drop completely to go look a certain way. I also really strongly believe in normalizing normal bodies. Everybody's body is beautiful. That was a stupid way to say it, but I truly believe that. It's just so ridiculous that we think that we need to have super flat tummies and like no thighs, and where does this come from? This comes from stupid society shoving things down our throats that aren't true, they're not achievable. Like, I have a very squishy belly and I love it. This belly brought 2 of my children into this world, and I am very proud of it. And if you look, I have jiggly thighs. As does everybody, even the shredded people that go to the gym all the time. Having fat on your body is normal and it is healthy. And we need to get this thing out of our minds where if we don't look a certain way, then we are not worthy, because that is the most toxic and horrible way to live your life. It makes me so sad because it's that classic story of like the 40-year-old looks at pictures of themselves when they're 20 and they're like, oh, I used to be so skinny, why did I ever think I was fat? They live their years of their life and it kind of in a way gets wasted because you're not happy with yourself. And so again, it changes how you perceive the entire world and how you live your life and how your relationships are. Nobody cares if you're big or small or anything. Like, they love you for you. It makes me so sad when anybody talks negatively about their bodies. And I've been there. Like, I have been heavier, I have been skinnier, I have been sad with myself, I have been happy with the way I've looked. Like, it's just such a crazy thing that we have to deal with, and it's just frustrating that we do have to deal with it. But here we are. Getting back to the whole point of this video, my fitness journey and how I'm starting at square one. And so I wrote 7 rules for myself for this gentle, balanced, sustainable, all the good words, fitness journey. So number rule is no cutting anything out. Because again, I want to preserve the very beautiful relationship that I have with food. I don't want to go down any of these roads where I'm trying to restrict something because it's not sustainable, it's not balanced, and I've tried it before many times in many different ways. So I'm just trying to have a very healthy approach to everything regarding food. Rule number 2 is eating 3 times a day, cutting out snacks, and having dessert with dinner. And this is for a twofold reason. I'm trying to stop snacking because I'm a snacking thief. Like, I am so bad about it. I am not just eating at like 8 o'clock at night and I'm not eating all throughout the day. To me, this just makes a ton of sense. And it's also the funny story where you are working with somebody that's trying to lose weight. They'll tell you all that they ate that day. They're like, oh, I had a smoothie for breakfast, and I had a healthy salad for lunch, and then I just had a small plate of pasta with like some chicken for dinner. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. Like, this is how I eat all the time. And then you make them write a food diary. They realize that, oh, I had 2 handfuls of pretzels after my smoothie because I was so hungry, and my kid came home from school and I ate all of their leftovers. I also had that candy bar because it looked delicious and it was staring at me. You actually forget about a lot of the food that you put into your mouth, which is a good note to be more mindful about what you're eating and how you're eating it. Another pro of not snacking all day is that it is much healthier for your teeth. So I'm trying to use that as a motivation to not snack all day as well. Rule 3 is to stay hydrated. Everybody should be doing this, and hardly anybody does it well enough, including myself. Like, I am a breastfeeding mother that is trying to be physically active. I do not drink nearly enough, and so that is a big rule that I'm going to try to keep. Rule number 4 is try to eat less processed, but refer back to number 1. So again, I'm not going to cut anything out. I'm still going to have dessert. I'm just going to eat it right after my dinner. You might notice that so many of these relate to food. We all know this. Food and nutrition is like the number 1 thing about losing weight. Scientifically, it is proven the only way that we have figured out how to lose weight is to have less calories coming in than what we are burning. There's no way around that. I am trying to put myself in a very, very, very small caloric deficit and just to kind of tone myself and become stronger. Number 5, move in ways that I enjoy 3 to 4 times a week. So this is where the actual exercising comes into play. This is one of the things that I'm so passionate about, is figuring out the way that you love to move. For some people, that might be lifting heavy at the gym. For some, it might be going for runs. Some, it might be daily walks or yoga, swimming. You can play racquetball. You can do whatever you want. Just move your body. You feel so much better when you do it, and you just improve your overall health and happiness. My next one is to try to walk on my off days. This used to be such an easy thing for me. Even after I had William, all the way up until he started walking and getting a little more opinionated. I was able to go on walks with him like almost every single day. It was one of our favorite things to do. I would pop him in the stroller and we would go on a nice long walk, enjoy the sunshine, and it was beautiful. However, going on walks with him right now is say like, oh, let's go to a park, and if there's one close by, we can walk to it, and I'll count that as my walk as a day. So they're just like little 15-minute jaunts around the town. I don't try to do anything crazy because I know that I have a crazy toddler and a baby, and it's just not so much in the cards right now. But that is one of my goals, is to try to enjoy the sunshine and get outdoors, weather permitting. Rule number 7 is a bonus. Try to get my husband involved. So this one, I say with all the love in the world. He told me that he wants me to help him to work out. And where he lacks enthusiasm, I do not. So without being like super naggy or anything, I kind of just gently demand him to work out with me. And so far, it's been going wonderfully. That's another fun thing you can try to do, is elbow somebody into working out with you, because then they get moving as well, and it also just, it makes it so much more fun. It encourages you both to get out and do stuff together. It builds relationships, and it's just a beautiful thing. Working out is beautiful. Yeah, those are my rules. One of the big reasons why I just love this whole thing so much, it's just, it marries 3 aspects that I'm very passionate about. On the one hand, you have nutrition and food, and I could talk to you all day long about both of those things because I love them. I love eating food. I love making food. I love buying food. I love preparing it. I love thinking about the nutrition. I love learning about it. I obsess about that a lot in a healthy way. And then on the other hand, you have the physical part of it. And again, I was so passionate about this that I actually went and became a certified personal trainer because I love moving my body and I love seeing the benefits and I love trying to help other people see those benefits as well. And then the third aspect of it that I want to shout from the rooftops is about that whole self-love, loving yourself, making the change. So much of this, if not all of it, I think comes from the mental aspect of it. Like, you have to show up consistently. You have to have the discipline to do it. The marriage of these three things I love talking about. Oh, but let's do a little, this is like a fitness journey, so let's do a little body check. Because what would a fitness video be if not for progress, pictures, stuff like that? Again, I'm going to stress this so much. This is not for comparison. My body is not the same as yours. We do not have the same genetics. We are nothing alike. Here is where I'm starting out. All beautiful. Here, let me roll these down so we can get the full effect. She's cute. And yeah, I got nice flabby arms. So, okay, let's just... Nothing like putting yourself fully on the internet. So that is all that I have to say. I know a lot of you probably won't be that interested in this topic, and so I will not be doing any sort of like dedicated workout video as such. I'll probably just post a few videos about like the journey or like the food that I'm eating and the ways that I'm moving my body and enjoying whatever floats my fancy. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. But just to show what I mean about how I'm trying to eat right now, I have this whole delicious gigantic salad. Take a look. So many veggies, so much wow. But then I'm also going to be eating my pizza. That was gross.